because New York City at that time it's dangerous.
Yeah. Now, this is what, 92, 91.
92, 91.
Yeah, New York was dangerous.
Times Square, bro, it was crazy. You felt like you're in a crazy city because people were crazy.
Wow.
And I landed, okay, with my pro black kind of vibe, thinking I'm gonna do that in New York City. You know? So I get there, I go to New York. There was a club called MK. MK was a club who was amazing.
Okay.
DJ Stretch Armstrong, white dude.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, this is crazy. We
Next
we we
level.
go, yeah, next level. Every single rapper is at that party.
Wow.
Everyone, everyone. Karis
So
One, Queen Latifah, everyone goes to that event, to that party. Who is the DJ? Stretch Armstrong is the DJ MK. So me, I go to my brother. I'm like, Etienne goes, okay, let's go out. So first club we go is called Nails.
what up, Urban? Nails. I know this club.
Yeah. Nails is the top club, is a shishi club. You cannot
Okay.
just get in like this. You need to be on the guest list. And there was not even guest list. The guy decided if you can get in or not. And it was very hard to get in. So
Very New
but
York.
very New York, Nails. Who is there? Madonna. She's the one who used to go hang out there. All the celebrities used to hang out there. So it was very tough to get in.
Okay.
But Etienne had some connection because he's working for Chevignon. You know what I'm saying? So that gives you power in New York. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. So he had some juice. So I go there and I get upset with my brother because I'm like, dude, come on, man. I'm coming from seeing this club is like, I don't like it that much. He's like, why? He's like, man, the DJ is white. I can't do that. I'm coming from hip hop. My brother looked at me,
You in pro black mode. You
pro black mode. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm man. And I decided not to go. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the real deal. I don't know where you hanging. I'm hanging out with the ghetto kids. That's where I want to go. So he said, okay, you want to do that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. I said, go to MK. Man, you go to MK, right? The party's fun and everything amazing. Party's fun.
So MK was the one with Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch Armstrong. It's
Okay.
crazy. Party is crazy. But
Oops.
the only problem, right? It's a ghetto party. Yeah. And my first time, I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God, this place is horrible.
This remind me my first time in New York in '96,
Uh-huh.
and I went to the tunnel. And I was listen, just the security guy. The hand of the security was like this. And I remember like the guy was 18, but he looks 3 times my size. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Is it funny? So you went to the tunnel. Okay, we'll speak about the tunnel later. So funny enough, I I go to this event, and at the end, there is shooting after shooting. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
oh my God. I go on the floor, gunshot everywhere. I go back home. I couldn't even walk. I think we were not far from the club, so I walked a couple of blocks and I couldn't walk. It was crazy. I've never been that scared. Okay,
Wow.
coming from Paris, we were trying to be like people are playing. There, it was no joke. Gunshot after gunshot. So I'm
Eh,
like,
eh,
oh,
eh,
oh,
eh,
oh, oh,
eh,
oh,
eh,
oh, oh, oh,
eh.
oh, oh. So I go to see my brother. Etienne is like,
Welcome
ah,
to New York City.
welcome to New York. You want it to be ghetto? You want to go back?
Tu crois que c'est Montfermeil ici? Tu crois que c'est Roubaix?
Oh my God, it was funny. I was like, oh no, this thing is serious. Now, at the meantime, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. These places. So I decided to leave. Of course, I didn't want to go back to those parties anymore. So the whole pro black thing, you
Went
know,
away
oh
with your
yeah, that's it.
courage.
Oh, that was it. I left it. I was like, no, 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 I can't mess up
First
here.
gunshots. There goes the pro black.
Throw it away. Throw it away, bro. And I decided, and I said to myself, hey, Michel, je suis pas. I said, I didn't come to this country to die. Eh? So I start thinking, you start thinking about this. You are real.
Wow.
So, bullet. I'm like, oh my God, this is what people say is dangerous. And it was dangerous everywhere. Etienne was like, you need to make sure you have no money in your pocket, you know, make sure when you walk, watch everywhere you're walking, look in the back, look in the front, look everywhere.
Don't go in small streets.
No, oh no, no, no.
When you see groups of men waiting, don't go. You know, I remember '96 was before Giuliani starts cleaning up the city and the gentrification of that whole. But I remember that my first time in New York, and me, I love to walk at night. So I would walk at night, but then first thing I do, I went to a store. I was dressed head to toe, Perry Ellis, and I was just walking, and because my English was perfect, and I had an American, I would say a New York accent because of all the interviews I was watching, all the things. So most people were actually thinking that I was an American or an African that
So they didn't really
that was there for a
you.
few years. So people were not bothering me, and I was rapping too and stuff. But that was crazy too.
Yeah. So, so the story is like, yeah, I leave that move and I decided, I'm like, okay, this thing is not really happening, the hip hop thing for me, because I'm not trying to like go and lose my life because I'm trying to become a pro black. And the African American were really mean, okay? They were very violent, very mean, the one that I
Okay.
met. So I was like, this is not the vibe. So I had to be trendy. So I decided to go back to nails. And now, mind you, New York City is very crazy, right? New York City has clubs, and Jacques and Pascal, Was, Bruce Up to Groove, Danny Kane, they were the top promoters in the city.
Okay.
Only models, okay? It was only guest list only. And in the club, in the parties, they only had models, nothing else. If you're not a model, you don't get in. They don't
Are you
care.
talking about? Are you talking about if you're not a model, you can't get in as a black person or in
Any,
general?
in general. The promoters were black.
Oh,
They were Haitian. Yeah,
yeah.
Jacques and
New.
Pascal they were from Haiti.
When I went there, I realized that the Haitians run New York at that time.
Yeah, they do. They had a lot of them. So Nelson and Anthony, they were actually Nelson and Anthony. Anthony was a model, a true model. So, and New York was different because you go to the country with music that you used to listen to, Kinshasa disco. That's not what people are listening over there. They're listening to completely different type of music. So Bobby Brown, when you say to people they play Bobby Brown, people are laughing at you. They're like, what? They play Bobby Brown in the club? I'm like, yeah. They're like, no, don't play
So what
that.
was the music at that time there?
The music was underground. So they used to play all this music that, man, I didn't know one single song. I'll tell you that much. not one. I was like, wait a minute. So were we so far off?
Damn. What up, Charlotte?
We were, yeah. That's interesting, right? You go, people were listening to, you know, some music. Okay, classics. They used to listen to funk,
Mm-hmm.
some classics funk, but not especially the one that we used to listen in Kinshasa. They
Okay.
had the disco music were a little bit different. Shaka Khan, maybe. So you can remember maybe two tracks. Shaka Khan, they play Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, not really. Um, Prince, that's where I got to discover Prince.
Wow.
It was huge. Prince was played everywhere. I was like, oh my God, Prince. So Prince was one of those guys who were like on top. So basically, I decided to live in New York City. I'm like, okay, I gotta get to know more people. I got a job. I find a little job. I was working in a pharmacy, you know, doing my little job, but I was going out. I finished the work. I'm out in a party, going to meet people. So what happened is,
And your plug was your brother.
what?
Your plug was your brother. You could go in everywhere thanks to your brother, or did
Well,
you?
no, I could go anywhere. I could go to places because my brother used to go to only the trendy places.
Okay.
So the places where you needed to be on the guest list where the models used to go, I was getting in because of my brother.
Okay.
But the other places, I used to go on my own, go out on my own. We're not going out together with Etienne. No, no, no. Etienne used to go to certain places, all the trendy, chic places. I was still trying to go to, the other New York kind of vibe, more crazy Latino and black people. I was still in there, but not in
Yeah.
the hardcore one.
Okay.
So when I moved to New York, what I did, I became friends with a lot of African Americans. So my friends were African Americans. And it was very interesting because I got to realize, I think in New York City, that wearing a pine, wearing African clothes were beautiful because I didn't know that. We never did it. For us, those things was no way. We used to wear only the stuff from the Europeans, whatever. But there, the black people were all Africanized. They were wearing all the pine, the girls, young girls from Brooklyn's, it was
Yeah,
different.
that's the time of the big Nefertiti earrings
Nefertiti,
and
you remember those big earrings?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, EK
So
was all over. That
all
was
over those
EK
things,
style
right?
and the
Yeah,
the
of course.
Queen Latifah haircut.
Yeah. EK was pure. She was 100%, man. She was no joke. So, and it was funny. So I got in there and I met so many people. And by the job that I used to do delivery, okay,
Okay.
for this pharmacy. But that pharmacy was on Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is you know, the street, the most expensive street in New York City.
It's like Avenue Montaigne, I would say.
Exactly. There we go. So, but I was working for this pharmacy, and the clients of the pharmacy were all super rich. So when I used to go and deliver, I was dressed up funky. The people loved me.
Mm.
So I met there the woman for your MTV. She was leaving. I used to deliver to her. I'm like, oh my God, this is your MTV. you know, I'm coming to deliver medicines, right? So I go and deliver. I'm like, what? This is the woman from the MTV. And she was really nice. So I used to go, I became friends. I met a lot of people also through that. And I was going out meeting people. In 2 years, okay, I knew a lot of people in New York. At the point that this girl, Suzanne Balcunas, she was a girl, and she's like, Jean Claude, why don't you become a promoter? I'm like, a promoter? I'm like, no way. But before that, let's go back. Before that, my brother Etienne, when I came from Paris, that's something important. Coming from Paris, I also went to Timis, uh, Timis, La Main
Oh,
Bleue.
le Timis.
Yeah, le Timis, La Main Bleue. I didn't go to Cœur Samba. I didn't go. But I go to Timis.
My
So for
dad,
me, yeah.
my dad and Jacob de Varieux used to be les deux bandits de cœur samba.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't go
That's
there.
why my dad, when he created his big house in Binza,
Uh-huh.
he did a copy of Cœur Samba in a part of the house. So he has his own club
Oh,
back then.
wow.
And you know, my mom had two clubs in Kinshasa.
Really? Which
Yeah,
one?
she had I keep forgetting the name. The second one was Esika, but I believe you were already gone.
Yeah.
And the first one was Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Was it
No,
Eclipse?
I was gone already, I think.
It was destroyed when there was les émeutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, no. I was already gone.
Because everybody thought it was because the Mobutu kids were always there, and people thought it belonged to them when actually it belonged to my mom.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Eclipse, the name of the club. My cousins know. I'll ask them.
Yeah, so, so I live there. I live, and here we go. I'm in
So
New
they
York
tell you
City.
why don't you be a promoter?
Yeah, and I was so pissed off because coming
Nina
from
is saying,
Paris,
come back closer to the laptop. She wants to see your face.
do they see me? Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Good, perfect. Okay. So basically, the thing is that when yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. So I go to Paris, I go to New York City. I decided to meet my own crew. Etienne doesn't know a lot of black people. I know the black people. I'm going hanging out with the black people in New York City, going to the parties. They had an event called, oh my God, that was crazy. It was called The Secret. Okay. New York was crazy. Event used to be crazy because they used to have events. The Secret, it was, on the train, right? They're not going to tell you where the place is. Only the day of the event, you will know where you need to go. So that's how it was.
Nice.
Those amazing parties. So I went to those parties, and so basically, I got to know a little bit more people. I studied the thing. So before that, when we go back forward, when I moved to New York City, because of Timis, I told my brother, I said, Etienne, we need to do African parties here in New York. So Etienne started doing the African parties. That's how we started
But
it.
at that moment, is your brother a DJ or a promoter?
My brother, he's a DJ.
Okay.
And well, he's a promoter, no. But
He works at Chevignon, but he's in the circles.
he's definitely in the circle.
Now, the
And
question is, how is African music in New York at that moment? So we're talking what, 90, 93, 94?
93, yeah, 93, 94. African music is not known.
Okay.
You have to go. There was only one club. I think the owner was from Kenya. And that's where all the Africans used to go.
So why do you believe that making African music parties would work in New York?
Because, the idea of Timis to me was fantastic. I found like they were playing all kind of music. And I knew also that The place where, the club where they used to, it was the only club, it was packed. It was the only club where they play African music. And Etienne also, the type of crowd who would come to 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 the parties, right? We also knew American people. So some American people used to show up. Etienne was able to bring in different crowd. The crowd was different. It was not just African people. So we introduced African music to Americans, basically. That's where they start listening a little bit, to Diblo Dibala, those kind of music. So we were playing all the zouk, all those kind of things. They were learning how to dance. They were learning, and we had now people from
They were
Paris when they
learning
came
how
on.
to dance. But what was the crowd? Were there African people, or were you trying to do
African
so?
people,
Okay.
trendy African people that we knew
What? But
because
like, was it easy to create a party? Did you have a like find a club where you would do the party? Like how
yeah,
I understand you had connections and stuff, but was it easy to create one of the first trendy African party in New York?
it was not that hard because we knew the owner and we were able to sell him the thing and we did the grand opening. It was really good. He made money and that was it. When he made money, we also made money. So we were
And
like,
it was
oh,
like, please do more.
exactly. And also another thing, we had other Africans. Don't forget, we are trendy, but you have also other Africans. We're not the only one. We meet Nikki Wilson, who was the best friend of Etienne. We have les enfants du type de what is name again? Uh, sons of diplomats, and those are the kind of crew who were mingling with Americans as well, but they were also, we brought in that scene. And the Americans we knew, the girls that we knew, we invited. So they came to the party, you know? So we created the connection. So that was an
All right.
event that Etienne used to do, not me. I was just helping. The idea came, I gave the idea. Etienne was the one who did it. He was a great DJ for that. So it was amazing.
Okay.
So we did that. But in the meantime, I get to become, there was a club called the Lamplight.
The limelight.
The Lamplight is an old church
Oh,
that they transformed
a club in a church.
in a church.
Lord have mercy. It's something they do now. Like they have one like this in Brussels.
Okay.
And me, when somebody tell me that the club is in a church, I'm like, nah, man, I'm
Yeah.
not going there.
Well, let me tell you, the Lamplight was crazy. The Lamplight was a club. They used to play only techno music, very hardcore. I never wanted to go there because I hated that music. Have you heard of music called industrial?
Yes, of course. Bam,
Okay,
bam, 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 bam,
so
bam, bam.
yeah, they were playing industrial and techno, and I hated the music.
That's for people who are
Exactly.
completely
In the other world. Yeah,
in DD mode.
exactly. So exactly. So you know
Charlène
what?
revient mercredi, c'est en français.
So I'm going there. I'm going. So the girl goes, "You're gonna work for Peter Gation. I want you to meet him." As a guy who's coming from Paris, you know, I'm like, yeah, but you know what? So the owner looks like shit. I'm sorry for the word, but he
What you
looks,
mean the owner looks like shit?
man, il est en babouche, he has like this, he's a jean who has holes,
Oh Lord.
right? He has a couple of holes on the jean. So I'm thinking he's a homeless. So I,
Rich people do that.
yeah, I know, but for me, I was like, so I tell Bakunas, I'm like, yeah, but so basically, we have the meeting. We decided to do the event at the Limelight, and I'm like, I cannot do this crazy music. She's like, no, no, they're gonna give you your own room. Really? Yeah.
Oh, your own room.
I had my own room in a club, and that room
Nice.
was called the library, full of
So
books.
what was the name of the club?
The Limelight.
The Limelight.
Yeah.
So they had like techno industrial parties, but then they would give you your own room where you could do your thing and do African
Yeah.
parties.
No, there I'm not doing African parties.
Oh, okay.
There it's me. African parties, I just told you Etienne is doing it. I came with the idea.
Okay, okay,
Etienne
okay, okay.
came. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're doing your own parties. So your
My
brother
own
is
thing.
doing his parties
Yeah.
where he's DJing, and
Yeah.
you're doing your own concept.
My own thing, my own concept, and I call it funk soirée. No,
Funk
no,
soirée.
no, 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 no. Oh, no, no. The first party was Parlez-vous funky?
Parlez-vous franquais?
Funky. Funky.
Funky. Okay.
Yeah. You know why? Because when I moved to New York, people were like, Parlez-vous français? Parlez-vous français? So I moved it and I call it Parlez-vous funky, and I did it on
Nice.
my birthday. So
That's
it was my
crazy.
birthday party, the grand opening.
Wow.
I promoted the event, 200 people came. And let me tell you, it was the first time in the Limelight. First of all, Limelight, to get in, no black people could get there. It
Oh.
was pretty, oh yeah, it was pretty racist. Let's put it just like this, or whatever. They didn't get in.
Yeah.
So it was tough. So I came in, and I had a vision of, I want to bring everybody, black, white, yellow, a mixed crowd. And I told the owner that was my vision. And let me tell you, it was amazing. So I met a guy named Michael James, who became my partner after that. He
Okay.
was from Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And we met, and he called me. He invited a lot of his friends. If he meets someone from a country, he's like, "Oh, my friend is doing an international party." So it was really good. So I do this party, birthday. Suzanne Balkunas make a huge cake. Man, I've never seen anything like this. The cake. And it was VIP only.
Okay.
If you didn't have a stamp, you couldn't get into my party. And I bring GJ Jules, who was from England, and there he plays funk music and soul.
Wow.
So that was the first time in that club that you have mixed people to get in. African people came in, European came in, Haitian came in, Jamaican came in.
Wow.
So we created the first event with a mixed crowd in New York City.
Wow. Congrats.
Really, really mixed. Because
Nice.
every other event in New York was very segregated. There's the black club, there's the club for the other, it used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be like
yeah. Everybody had their club.
the other club.